Mr. B again. I'm here with chapter 14 of our One School, One Book project. This chapter is called Up. 22 hours and 30 minutes later. Here are your instructions, Mr. Acevedo said, hopping onto his desk. I want everyone to get a journal. He pointed to the composition notebooks on the windowsill behind Red and me. Put your name on it and then go stand on your table. Go stand on your table? Red raised his fist to his face and tapped his cheeks. Just be careful, Mr. Acevedo said. I don't want to have to write an incident report on my third day. He jumped down and scooted to Avery. What can you do, Miss Goodman? She curled her lip. Well, I can't exactly stand on my table. I didn't think you could. He tapped her armrest. But you're a member of this class, and everyone in room 208 participates. So what can we have you do instead? Whatever, she said. Nope, Mr. Acevedo shook his head. We need to come up. I can climb, she interrupted. Excellent. Be right back. He sidestepped onto the door and leaned into the hallway. Miss Walden, he called, can you send one of the custodians our way? Miss Walden, the parent coordinator. She hadn't been at her desk these first 3 mornings, and I was afraid to ask where she was. Miss Walden knew everything about RJE, everything. Mom called people like Miss Walden indispensable. I pushed my chair away from the table, reached back, and grabbed 2 notebooks. I placed one in front of Red, who still had his hands by his face. He was swaying, too. Whenever we had writer's workshop or a new writing assignment in ELA, Red always worked with Miss Yvonne. I wrote RIP in all caps on the corner of the notebook and then tapped Red on the shoulder. Come on, I said, standing up. This could be fun. He continued to sway. I shook out my hair. I was pretty sure Red would be fine once he was up. Everyone was doing the assignment, too. It wasn't like he was being singled out. Come on, I said. Okay, Mason Irving, he said softly. We both climbed onto our table. Freeze! Mr. Acevedo suddenly shouted. Everyone froze. Without moving your feet, he said, turn and look my way. Mr. Acevedo stood in the doorway with his arms around Mr. Goldberg. Mr. Goldberg, the head custodian. If you don't know who this man is, Mr. Acevedo said, you need to learn. This is Mr. Goldberg. After the 26 of you in room 208, this gentleman right here is the most important person in the school. Not only does he know where everything is, he also has the key to every door. That means he has access. That means we're always kind to this man. Mom called people like Mr. Goldberg indispensable, too. We're doing a writing activity, Mr. Acevedo turned to him. Wouldn't it be possible to borrow a stepladder? Coming right up, Mr. Goldberg ducked into the hallway. Can we unfreeze? Trinity asked. She was standing on 1 foot of her chair and on 1 foot on her table. Not until the ladder arrives, Mr. Acevedo said. It arrived a few moments later. Here you go, Miss Goodman, Mr. Acevedo said, opening it next to her. Do you need help getting? Avery was already lifting herself out of the chair. She began pulling herself up the ladder. I'd never seen Avery out of her chair. I'm pretty sure most of the other kids hadn't either. Everyone stared. What are you looking at? She said when she reached the top rung. Mr. Acevedo handed Avery her journal and then sprang onto his desk. This activity is about perspective, he said. Room 208 looks very different from up here. We're looking at things from a new vantage point, a new point of view. That enables us to see things we always see in a different way. It also allows us to discover new things right in front of us. I want you to write down what you see. How do things look different from up here? What new things have appeared? Can we draw? Sebi asked. Absolutely, Mr. Acevedo answered. Draw, write, whatever. And for this exercise, don't worry about full sentences, capital letters, or spelling. Just get your ideas and observations down on the page. Use your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Give me the details, lots of specific details. Details make our writing come to life. It sounded pretty cool. And I loved what he said. Don't worry about full sentences, capital letters, or spelling. I did my best. Here it is. Standing on table assignment. The light bulbs are humming. There's a dead wasp in the light fixture. I can't see its legs. The top of the fixture has never been dusted. The top of the ceiling projector has never been dusted. It's hot up here. Red isn't writing. Mr. Acevedo has a tattoo on the back of his neck. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. That's what his tattoo on his arm says. Out of the window, the tops of the portables. Out of the window, the soccer field on the other side of the portables. Out of the window, part of the fence around the playground. Red still isn't writing. At first, I was nervous standing up. Now I'm not. I'm starting to really, really love this book. I hope you guys are too. And that's the end of chapter 14. I'll see you next time for another episode of One School, One Book.